Hey everybody, it's Captain Kyle and I'm here with the Legacy Armada version of Starscream. Very cool toy, but I'm not just going to show you him. I'm going to put him up against the original Armada Starscream. Yes, we have the very cool voyager-sized, they seem to be getting smaller, version of Starscream in the Legacy line from the Armada universe. And then we have the original Starscream from the Armada universe, complete with Swindle, his Minicon. Okay, that was a bad impression. I'm gonna put them up against each other, compare everything, and you get to decide which one's better. Be right back. See, I told you we'd be right back, and I did want to point out my awesome Devastator shirt. If you like Devastator, you might like this shirt. There's a link in the description, TeePublic, where I got this awesome shirt, and they have tons more, so check it out. But let's get into the comparison. Now I'm gonna start out with the Legacy version, and I'm gonna take this wonderfully sharp knife and pop him out of his packaging. I mean, before I pop him out, obviously he looks pretty good in the packaging. It doesn't have the window, but it has some nice artwork. You can see the figure clearly in there. And it has the nice Legacy artwork on the sides, and it shows you him on the back. But let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? It comes with instructions. Who knows, I might need those. Inside the package, he is affixed to the cardboard with all the plastic that they did not use for the window. And he comes with 2 sword weapons. Let's free him. Oh, and here's that shitty piece of paper. Nice box. So let's get to the figure. So there he is, Armada Starscream, and he does have these 2 weapons. He does not appear to come with Swindle, but it does look like there are Minicon ports on the side of his sword, which is odd. And this sword just came out. Let's put that back in. Get in there. Okay, that should stay. On his back, you can see the 2 guns slash jets slash whatever they're supposed to be. It's got the nice wings. Pretty good figure from all sides. You can flip up these cannons, which do not appear to have any missiles. And it has a little lever in the back, which you can then put down, so that's not sticking out as well. But they are sticking out far to the back, and he looks good. If you want to put those weapons away, just put them back, and they make more of a jetpack. Not that Decepticons are supposed to need jetpacks to fly. Well, let's check out his posability. Let's start with the legs. Yes, he can do a full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. However, when you do that, his nose cone in the front kind of pushes out a little bit. Otherwise, it would leave him suspended. But the legs can move in all directions. He can kick, side kicks. He can do front kicks, but because of this nose cone, they're slightly tilted to one side. But he does have the ankle swivels, so you can definitely give him a wider stance and still keep him stable. Now he does kind of twist at the waist, but because the nose cone here kind of interferes with that twisting. If I move it up, you can see there's the full range of motion, but in his standard robot mode, it blocks that capability. Arms, the shoulders have a good back and forth. You can even push them out to the side, which is kind of neat. He has elbow joints and a swivel, and that's on both sides, of course. The fists do not twist, but that's not a major concern. His head, hey, it turns. Feels a little stiff, but that just could be because it's brand new out of the package. You can even put him very easily into a kneeling pose, which is kind of cool. So a very posable figure. The back doesn't have too much kibble. You can just see the wings and the jets. The nose does have a tendency to push out, so plugs in, but as you're maneuvering him, it could very easily flop out. So that's kind of a slight design flaw. I wouldn't go make any major big deal about it, but just so you're aware, it's pretty easy to pop it forward. So very cool robot mode, 2 weapons. Obviously, these are the projectiles or the distance weapons, and then he's got the melee weapons, so he can slice and dice. It slices, it dices. And no Minicon, but you know, can't have everything. Now, the original Starscream from the Armada line is a bit of a big bloke. He does have a Minicon that comes with him, and you can plug that in order to activate the weapons to come forward. He does have electronics and sounds. I think the batteries may have died. Should probably replace those. But we'll try later on to see if they activate in his vehicle mode as they usually do. Now his sword is actually a wing. You'll notice that this sword actually looks like it could be a wing. So it's kind of an homage to the original weapon, which folds out from the wing and plugs into his hand. Now obviously if you drop it like that, it's not good. But obviously if you hit something with it, it's got all these joints, so it can be quite a curvy sword. And having these guns forward, which has these 2 missiles, which shoot pretty good, obviously obstructs his ability to look side to side, which is not as obstructive on the new one, but I think we'll remove his Minicon for now and move those back so he can see a little bit better. As far as posability, his legs do not go out to the side, so he cannot do a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. They do move forward and back. He does have a knee joint. It's got a ratcheting sound in there if you're hearing that. No swivels on the feet, but you can't really spread his legs anyway, so putting him into a wide stance wouldn't make a heck of a lot of sense. The arms are a little bit constrained. They do not go out to the sides. They go forward somewhat and back. He's got elbow joints. The fists do not twist. Transformation doesn't allow for it. He also does not twist at the waist. He does have this weird double jointed elbow, but that's part of the transformation. His head does not turn either. If it does, I'm not forcing it because that would kind of break things. On the back, he's got this huge shelf, this huge protrusion of the weapons and this base piece that it clips into. You can see the wings, or in this case, wing, because one of them is in his hand. So as far as posability, I would definitely say there's a lot more in the new version than in this one. And just real quick, he's got Swindle, who is an itty bitty guy, but he's a Minicon. He can activate hidden weapons. I've not ever been a huge fan of the Minicon gimmick, but that's what we got. I always prefer to have my guys be able to actually launch their weapons without outside assistance, but in this case, you can't. And with the Minicon ports, you can obviously put them here, and the weapons go forward, so he can do a really good blast. When you take him out, those weapons are still forward. You can attach him to the arms, which doesn't activate any features, but it does allow him to use it maybe to, as some kind of arm weapon. And that's all the Minicon ports that I see on the original in these different places. I had noted on this sword, there appears to be Minicon ports, which Swindle can fit on, interestingly enough, but I don't see the advantage. Makes it a heavier sword. Side by side, you can see that the original is obviously taller, though missing a wing, than the original. I considered bringing in the Armada Generations Starscream, but 2 is enough. Definitely a slimmer profile on the new one, even when we put up his weapons. And he looks a little bit more like the other Starscream. In fact, what's interesting, if you look at the top, the detailing here and here is the same. It's a very nice nod, very subtle. These actually do flip forward as well, so he does have the same thing, though no projectiles. So he can store it more easily, flip up, these come forward, this flips back, so when his weapons are forward, not nearly as much sticking out behind. So very cool. It's a nice nod. It even looks like it has a little spot for the missile launchers or these things, kind of a very nice homage. Very cool. But size-wise, yes, Voyagers are getting smaller and smaller. This is a Voyager-sized toy, and he's obviously smaller than this Voyager-sized toy. All right, let's check out the vehicle modes. So there he is in his jet mode. You can flip forward his weapons while in jet mode. He can fly around. The weapon storage of the 2 swords is on the wings. And I have to say the transformation, very similar in some ways to that of the original. And it even has the top of Starscream's head right here, so it's kind of an homage to the original, having it visible. But a nice jet. Does not seem to have any landing gear, but that's not a big deal. Nice tail fins, nice deco on the wings. Has these front, I don't know, forewings? I don't know. I am not an aviator. They fold down. I don't know if that would be something you'd want to do in flight, but it could be an interesting thing for him to do. I have no idea. But very cool. These, I imagine, are his jets, or, you know, they could be, you could use your imagination and it comes out of here. Got these tail fins. Yeah, overall, a nice homage to the original. Nice shiny blue cockpit. Doesn't press down as the original one did for electronics purposes, because it has no electronics. But again, a very cool looking jet. I don't know if deploying these forward in flight would actually cause problems, especially at high speed, but they're Decepticons, who knows? They have technology far beyond that of humans. But a really cool jet mode, I like it. These flip very easily, so if you're maneuvering it, that can happen, but overall I like it as a jet. He looks fast, he looks sleek, he looks like Armada Starscream. In the Legacy universe. All right, let's transform the original. So here is the original Armada Starscream in vehicle mode. Very similar looking jet. The arms on the side that fold in and become like, I don't know, additional jet engines are a little further forward, it looks like. There's his head. You still need the Minicon to bring forward these missiles in flight, though, again, I'm not sure how the aerodynamics would work at high speed. Seems like it could be a bad thing. Tail fins, again, a very similar look. Obviously, his weapon storage is the wing, and as these are missiles, I guess they're not necessarily, they could be, you know, the jets. Could consider this kind of a blast effect, jet effect. He actually does have landing gear, so you can roll him. Not his preferred mode of transportation, but it could work. And what's interesting with the head, you don't just push it down, it actually is on a spring that when you transform him, it activates this, well, it pushes against this little lever and his head pops up. But when you push it down, it locks into place. Now the decals on the wings are actually molded plastic that has been painted, but overall it looks very nice, very gray jet. Now with the Minicon, you still can put him on the arms, you can still put him here, but you also have the additional option of popping him underneath the cockpit for additional storage and just another place to put him. That's not asymmetrical, nor does it deploy his weapons. And yes, there are electronics. This black canopy pushes down, but again, batteries have run out. I think they were actually removed. I hope so. I'm gonna have to check later. But a nice looking jet, not based on a real jet to my knowledge because of all the additional things, but let's put them side by side, see how they look. And again, you can see the size difference. Now these squares here are 1-inch squares, so the Legacy one is about 7 inches. Whereas from the tips of the missiles to the nose cone, it's about 10 for the old one. So what would you rather be, 7 inches or 10 inches? Don't answer that, sick pervs. But definitely side by side, they look similar. Again, there is a size difference and the advantage of moving this forward without needing a goddamn Minicon. The interesting thing about the nose of the original is it kind of ends here with this little flat area. It looks like it should go further, but I don't think it does. I think that's pretty much it. So it's a little thing there. It's a little smoother on the new one, but very similar looks. Now in the back of this jet, it has these two pieces that are attached to the legs, kind of come together. This one kind of flopped out. Seems okay now, but that could be a point of floppiness. I may not have pushed it in enough. But there they are, two different versions of the same character, different molds, two different sizes. Which one do you like better? This one definitely has posability on its side. This one definitely has electronics when they're working. A Minicon partner, and size can matter. Hate to say it. So let me know which one you think is better in the comments below, and I will certainly put a link to this guy. He's probably still available at retail. I will put links to there. I'll also put links to eBay. This guy, you're pretty much gonna have to go to eBay. You're not gonna find him retail, at least at any toy stores that are new. But again, a cool set of jets. I don't know if you want one or if you want both. I like having both, but totally up to you. And while you're deciding which one is better, you can definitely check out this video over here, which talks about a third-party Starscream that's coordinated. That's the term. And of course, if you like this video, hit that like button. You can subscribe if you want. We'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.